Hello mate, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. I'm Marcus Caballero and you join me today for some DCS World. We're in an FA80 and we're just going to go through a quick mission, some of the systems and what's involved. Let's jump into the cockpit. So, first things first, we need to get ourselves started. So we will come down here and we turn on the battery. Then on the other side, we want to turn on the APU, and we're waiting for this green light to come on. We'll just see another F-18 taking off while we're waiting for everything to fire up. We've got a helicopter coming across. Now we've got the green light, so we want to crank the right engine. And then we're waiting for the revs to get up to 20. And now we're going to push the right throttle forward into idle. I think what we'll do is we will get the canopy closed. It's incredibly loud. And while that's going, we can get our instruments and flight information powered up. Turn on our DDIs.
Flight controlled. Flight controlled.
Right, so we want to come over to this side and we want to get our navigation warmed up. So we will flick that to ground. We will put our radar on operational. And over on this page, we get it up. The HSI, we want to go stored heading. So we'll just push that, and that's going to start counting down there. And then once it's done, our GPS system will be fired up. We can see it probably better down here. It needs to get to about 1 minute 30, and that needs to get down to 6, I think it is. Right, so while all that is warming up, we will come over this side and we want to crank our left engine. And again, we're going to wait for that RPM there to get to 200. To 20, sorry. There it goes. We'll push this up into idle. And now we will move over to, we need to rotate our bleed air knob. And then behind us, our oxygen is on. Right, so we've got our FCS, that's Flight Control Services, so we want to click that button, and then while holding down FCS, we want to press Y on the keyboard, and that will go through its own test to check everything's working. We can release our artificial horizon down here. What else can we do? Arm our ejection seat. That's our radar altitude warning. We'll set that for 100. What else do we need? Right, we're carrying a thermal imaging camera, so we'll get that turned on so that it's warming up. And right, quick scan around the cockpit, see how we're doing so far. So we are still waiting on this. That's okay. So what we can do is come over and put that into IFA. So that's essentially our GPS system. Tells us where we are. Right, bingo fuel. So this will be the level of fuel before we start getting alarmed. We'll set that to 4,000. Should be fine. We've got 13,000, including an exterior tank. 10,000 internal. Should be plenty for what we're doing. Right, so everything's looking good so far. Our lights, probably don't need them because it's broad daylight. Our FCS is done, so what we can do is get our HSI up on here, and we've got some waypoints set up, so we hit the waypoint key and box that, waypoint 1, that's off of our nose as it should be. We'll just get our heads up display on here, I think. And everything's looking good. So we'll come down here while we're parked up and we will get our situational awareness page. This is countermeasures and your defense. So any threats will show up on here. And that is looking pretty good, I think. Right, flaps up to half. Take off. We will release our parking brake. Oh, before we head off, let's switch on our countermeasures. Go, and we'll put bypass dispenser on. That's going to be for chaffs and flares. That's pretty much it. We will get ourselves showing as moving. Clear off the master caution. Oh. Forgot. We'll reset our control surfaces and set rudder and trim. Right, yeah, that should be good. Right, let's get rolling and get airborne. So this is by no means a definitive guide to what you should be doing with DCS. This is just me pottering about. I haven't played this game in absolutely ages, so I'm remembering a lot of the systems as I go, but I will explain more as we get airborne on what we're going to be doing today. And really it's just a video to show you kind of what DCS is about. I've forgotten to put the HUD up on the display there. So yeah, as I say, this is going to be a definitive guide on how to play DCS or DCS, how to fly the F-18 properly. This is, yeah, just a bit of fun, and one of the reasons I play DCS, it's a study level sim, so as you can see from the startup, it's pretty involved. You know, it's not like Ace Combat, much as I love that game. It doesn't hold your hand. You have to work to get things done. Systems don't just work. You know, you have to lock planes up in the radar yourself. You have to choose which weapons, which ranges. It's really in depth, and that's what I love about it. But it's not for everyone. So this is really just a video to show you what it's about. The hours you need to get proficient in, especially something like the F-18, so many different working systems, is a lot. So unless you've got the time to be able to invest, it can be quite difficult. Right, so get ourselves nice and straight on the runway. Right, so let's just have another check. I think we're pretty good. Got him there. Anti-skid's on. Opening our lights. Yeah, right, so we will bring it up to full power, release the brakes, and then get ourselves airborne. Don't need to pull back on a stick. Once it gets to about 160, it will start to rotate itself. There it goes. And we're up. And gear coming up. Coming up on 250. Flaps coming up. Flaps up. Yep. Right, we'll pull back out of afterburner. And we will come down here and just switch out waypoints to auto, and as you can see, it's come up with a waypoint track for us, so you can just pull back a bit and get some altitude. We're on the Persian Gulf map, just taking off from Al Minad, just off of the coast, or just coast over there, with city of Dubai. Right, while we're coming up, check what's going on. So, for what we're going to be doing today, we're going up to an enemy Air Force base, which is guarded by a SAM site. So we're going to have to take out the SAM. Just seem to be losing a bit of speed here, so we'll kick the afterburners on. Yeah, it's guarded by a SAM site, so we're going to have to neutralise the SAM threat, and then we're going to have a look over the airport and see if we can destroy some of the assets in and around the airport with some well, they're kind of flying bombs essentially, but yeah, I'll explain more as we get closer. So just coming up on waypoint 1.5 miles. I think what we might do is actually flick to waypoint 2, coming up on 20,000 feet. So I can see the waypoint just by this little green dot up here, and we get our velocity vector that represents our plane and where it's going, and this is our heading bug up top there, so we'll just bring that round and line up, and that's it, and we're at around 23,000 feet. Just ease back on the throttles. We're probably good about here, 24,000. So we will come down, level off, throttle back, and we will hit auto thrust control. Then we can get our autopilot on. Barometric altitude hold and couple, and now that's going to fly this track along here, and we can work on getting the plane set up. Now, some stuff I should have done on the ground really. I should have got the data link turned on. We'll get TACAN, we won't worry about that for now. IFF, that's friendly identification of planes. Don't really need that at the minute, we don't have anything on. Right, we can set up our, oh, what's happening here? Oh, it's the autopilot. What we can do is come over here and set up our EW page, that's our electronic warfare. So we will get these symbols up on the HUD. Now this is going to tell us where any threats might come from, so any enemy SAM sites like we're heading to. So we want to hit the standby, we want to get that, we want to change the mode, we want to change it to manual, and generally I go for manual 5, which is 1 chaff and 1, oh god, what's the name? Flare. 1 chaff and flare. As we go. Right, and what we can do now, we know we're going to be facing ground targets, so if we stick our master arm on and get air to ground up, and what we can do is we want to get our JSAs up. Now they are the flying bombs, but they take a little while to warm up, so it should start. Yep, there's the timer, kind of count it down, and then once that's ready we will be able to use them. Now this is what we will be using to take out enemy radars. Meanwhile over here, let's get up our FLIR camera and have a look. Okay, so that's up and running. So the FLIR camera is essentially a way of zooming in on targets on the ground. If you've ever seen laser guided bombs and the like, this is the system they use. So we are coming up on waypoint 3. Waypoint 4 is the point at which their radars will start picking us up, quite possibly. And then waypoint 5, I believe, there, that's the target area. So as I say, this isn't a how-to guy on DCS. I'm not that good. I don't play it often enough. It's just a fun game to get stuck into because it's so tough to work out fully what's going on. I've been playing it for about 7 or 8 years probably, and I just really enjoy it. But it can be really tough. I bought new joysticks and a throttle and had to remap everything, and it took me the best part of 6 months. And then you lose the muscle memory from where everything is and what's going on. It's an involved thing, so unless you've got time to spare, it can be quite difficult to remember exactly what's going on. Right, I'm just faffing about now with my screen. So we want to get our early warning system up, essentially. So this will be the way to tell whether any radar is locked onto us. In this, it would tell you if there was planes, enemy planes as well. In this scenario, I haven't done any enemy planes. Okay, so you just see, speaking of which, this pop up. Now this is the SAM site. Now that little box around it, it's tracking us. So, and because it's in this outer ring, we know that it's tracking us. Now when alarms start going off and it all starts kicking off, that means it's fired at us. I'm sure we will get to that point soon. Right, so what we want to do is use the HARM missile. If we look over at this one, we will set that to TOO, and we need to make this active. Okay, there it goes. So it's tracking us now. That phone means it's tracking us. And what we can do, you can see there, oh, it's fired at us. We'll put that in self-protect mode, and we will fire off a missile, and we will take evasive action by diving down into these mountains. Now I don't know if we can see, can you see that? So there's a couple of missiles heading toward us, so we want to get down to the deck ASAP. We'll chuck out some chaff and flare as we go, and hopefully these missiles aren't going to get us. Maybe even turn away from them a bit, just so they've got even more work to do. So hopefully by coming down low like this, you use up a lot of the missile's energy, plus you mask yourself from them being able to track you, because the mountains will block it. So we'll just scoot along this valley for the minute. Pretty sure those missiles have lost any track on us, as we lost the alarms. And because we managed to get a HARM missile off towards the radar, we put it in self-protect mode, and what that does, it will track any enemy radar that has you locked up, which it didn't at that point. So we should be well clear of it, dodging through these canyons. We will head back up, and hopefully, our HARM missile managed to take out the offending SAM sites. So, not seeing anything come up on the E. Oh no, it's still there. We didn't get to take it out. So we will go to TOO mode. That's target of opportunity. So in this one, we will actually plan to fire at it. It won't be in response to the SAM site locking us up. But this is a little different as far as how we are going to fire at it. So we'll just head along in a minute. At the minute, it's kind of over that way behind us. Speaking of which, let's get our helmet mounted display on, which will give us HUD information in our helmet as we look. So the HUD site is over that way. We will throttle back a bit. How are we doing on fuel? 8,000. Can probably afford to lose our tank. I'll leave that for the minute. Let's concentrate on getting this HARM missile off. So we're going to pull back round so that we have this SAM sight off our nose. And then we will see this SAM sight come up on our HARM display, and we should be able to lock it up. Of course, the aircraft are a little bit unbalanced now because we fired one missile, so it's heavier one side than the other. But once we get this HARM missile off, it should even itself out a bit more. You can see down here, the HSI, we're slowly bringing it round onto our nose. There it is, and you can see it pop up on here. Now we've got this page designated, so you should be able to hand off. You see the little H off come up on there, and we will pull up a little bit and fire the HARM. Right, so that's fired off now, and there we see it again. It's got us locked up. So what we will do is jink to the left. Then you see the missile tracks. Yep, there's missile tracks down there. So we will bail out of this, drop some chaff and flare. This really isn't the best missile avoidance I've ever done. But we should be masked by the mountains. I've not seen any battle damage assessment come up, which, there it goes. So our HARM missile did the job and it destroyed the search radar. So that's not the entire SAM site destroyed, that's just the search radar, but for us that should be enough. So let's just get ourselves a bit higher and level. How are we doing? Fuel 7,800. Right, let's get ourselves about here just for now. We'll get rid of our spare tank. Auto throttle on. We will get our autopilot altitude hold on while we come down here. Right, so we want to get our stores page up. Where are you? Stores page. Stores page. Up there. You can see we've got our fuel tank there, so we will click the center bar, go down to stores and dump our fuel tank. Back up. So we've got our JSAs. That alignment is good. Right, let's get ourselves up to a better height and head towards the target area. I want to turn back to the north again and head in for waypoint 5, and we want to get probably around 25,000 feet just to give the the J cells enough altitude and speed to send them on their way. So of course, this would be much more complicated if there was air cover, but I decided to take that out because it was just getting too much. I had to turn that off. Thank we don't need you. We're about 14 miles out. We're probably a bit close, to be honest. Oh, that's not good. What is that? Something else locking us up. Oh, that's not good at all. It's another missile headed towards us. Chaff and flare, chaff and flare. Not seeing where it's launched from. Hopefully that means it's lost track of us. No, it's coming in from our left there. Oh, this could get dodgy. This could get dodgy. They're closer than I would want. I think for now, if we head out of this, it's a little bit dangerous being this close in, I think, as you can see from that circle that we're inside. And we'll push out, gain some height. Oh, it's picked us up again. Clearly we didn't destroy its full capabilities as far as searching for us goes. Hopefully once we're out of this threat circle, it can track us all as likes as long as it doesn't fire at us, because we've got no more harm missiles. Okay, so we're up to around 20,000. I think, where are we? We come around this way, off the coast. While we get our J-cell set up and try and give it a target to go for. Just looking here, I want to run just along the outside of the circle, really. So probably we pull up and head on this course of about 050. Should be alright. Get the auto throttles on. Get the autopilot on while we get our head down and work out these J-cells. Okay, so we want to get our FLIR imaging camera up and running. We'll get you onto stores. Get a J-cell display up. We want to change the mode to target opportunity. Mission. Right, so what we will do is waypoint 5 over here, which is where all the goodies are. We will designate that, which means that our camera will zoom into that location. We need to make sure that this DDI is set up, and there we can see we're looking at an airport. So we will switch from wide down to narrow, get a closer look, and we should be able to zoom in a little bit and see what we're looking at. So as you can see, there's some planes down on the ground there, so I think they would make quite a good target. We zoom in on that and lock it up. Now that has sent the coordinates over to this missile. So we just need to get ourselves in a position to be able to fire it now. That's off over that way. So what are we at? We're at 22,000 feet, 350 knots, so we will pick up the pace a little bit. No, we won't, hold on. Make sure I left AP on, did. Right, so what we want to do is set up our, so these munitions are clusters essentially, so they will burst open, this one at 1500 feet above the target, and it will spread loads of little bombs. So what we can do is change how do we do that? Oh yeah, height. So we want to change the height that it is going to deploy at. We will put it at 500 feet. So you can see it there. So 500 feet above the target, it will open up and drop loads of cluster ammunition on the targets. Right, so I think we're good there. We will give ourselves a bit more speed. Now, as you can see in the HUD, it's come up in range, which means we are in range to be able to fire the target. It's always a good idea to just have it off your nose, though. This makes it a bit easier for the missile. It has no engine in, so it works on free fall essentially. So coming in from this way might not be the best move, but we'll give it a go. Right, that is away, and we will pull off before we get locked up. We was not happy with that. Not happy with that at all. Now, because we fired off that missile, the plane is very unbalanced. We'll head back down to the south, gaining a bit of altitude while we go. So we're flying parallel to the tracking radar at the minute. Probably if we'll come in a bit more. If we put autopilot on, barometric altitude hold and attitude hold, so that should keep us nice and level. Got auto throttle on as well, so that's on its way over there. We're still getting tracked. We'll put you on target of opportunity, and you can see again now we've come back on that, so we'll try and aim for this one this time. I don't know how well it will do, simply because the mountains are in the way. So we're in range again. Finally that has shut up. Clear the master portion. Get a little bit of speed up. How we're doing on fuel, 5,300. We'll probably do these two. So we had some damage. So it did reach the target, which is good. Oh, we're way high now, 28,000 feet. 29,000, under 30,000. Probably want to back off a little bit. And that's coming around off of our nose. So we will fire that. And there goes the SAM sight again, locking us up. But I think at this point we are pretty much done So hopefully this time it should take out the big plane there. EW up. Yep, there's that SAM site still locking us up. We're awfully slow up to 30,000 feet, which isn't ideal. The throttle's on. But I don't know if we can get, yep. So this is our flying bomb on its way in. As you can see, it just glides it. Yep. You up and running. So hopefully it clears the top of that mountain. Jog back to our plane. Just to make sure we're not getting fired at or anything. Hope we're all good. We've got barometric hold, we'll get that on. Jog back to our thing here. You can see it's, yeah, it should make it heading down to the runway down in front of it. And if we just look at the outside of our plane here, we've spent all of our munitions. That's our camera, just there on the left hand side of the plane. Jump back and see how that's doing. Oh, no, we forgot to change the height that this would dispense at for this attack run. So I guess we'll see what happens. So this should burst open about 1,500 feet above the target. And hopefully we should force some disruption. Yeah, there you go. And we just wait for all the small little bombs. So we didn't do a load of damage, but we struck them where they didn't want to be struck. Right, so with all that done, we will head... what waypoint do we want? Probably waypoint 10. Well, we'll go with waypoint 9 just to get ourselves out of here. And we need to bring that up. Waypoint. The master portion telling me I've come off of autopilot. Sorry, things got complicated there, and we will head south back to Al Minhad. Heading of 240. Should take us back. Okay, so we really could do with getting a little bit of speed up, I think. So we will go with barometric altitude hold. We'll get some speed up and then put the auto throttles on. We can turn our FLIR off. I think if we stick our HSI up on this side. HSI, this will guide us back home. Open up the scale on that just so we can see where we're heading. So we're heading for 10, we head for 9. And couple, that should automatically fly us towards waypoint 8, which will give us a nice approach for landing back at Al Minhad. And we can come over here and we can clean things up, so we can turn air to ground off, and we can turn our master arm off. We can also turn our FLIR camera off. There's my cursor gone, there you are. Turn you off, turn you off, and we're up to about 380. We'll throttle back to about 385 and we will head back to base. So I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, as I said, I'm not an expert at this stuff. It's just, I really enjoy it. It's great fun. So initially what we were trying to do was knock out the radar capability. We got one of the search radars, but we didn't get both of them, so we had to stand way off to launch any missiles at the airport infrastructure, which we did, to be fair. You can see that. And the standoff weapons are used just for that very purpose. So I think what I will do is I will cut it for now, and because we're just going to be flying back, going to be a lot going on, and we will rejoin on the approach. So we are just making our way back in over the top of Dubai now, slowly descending down the land. You can see the Burj Khalifa down below us. I haven't got the graphics whacked way up because my system just doesn't like it, but if you've got a top spec PC, it does look absolutely amazing. Let's hop back inside the cockpit. So we're coming up on waypoint 8, waypoint 9, we are 12 miles away. The runway is off our left wing over there somewhere. Wasn't back there a little bit. Just going through 6,000 feet. We will cut power to the throttles. There's the airport and the runway. So we are gonna ease back. We want to be down to about 250 knots before we start dropping our landing gear. So just coming through 350 knots. We can see the runway there. Start our turn. Still descending. It's coming up at 300 knots. Rubbing off the speed nice and slowly. I think we can put some flaps down. Flaps 1. Take a bit more speed off of us. Runway in sight. 250. Drop the landing gear. 5,000 feet. Runway just coming up off of our nose. Now, you can see this little bracket here. Ideally, we want to keep our little velocity vector thing here right in the middle of that for descent. That's the best speed and angle of approach and descent. So we'll probably be at about 140 knots, which is coming up pretty quickly. So we're going to want to increase the throttles just a little bit, just so we can catch a velocity vector in that little key there. Just increasing the throttles a little bit. What we can actually do is put auto throttles on, and now that will now adjust automatically for us. And if we get our velocity vector roughly on the end of the runway, we should be doing alright. Just reset my view. Better. So we're on speed, coming down at 1200 feet per minute. Now the F/A-18, because it's primarily used on carriers, it can land at anything up to about 2,500 feet per minute, I believe. Of course, it was recently the plane featured in the Top Gun films, although that was the 2-seater version. So just want to trim the airplane out a bit. So if we get our FCS page up here, we should be able to see what I'm talking about. FCS. So this gives the trim of the airplane. So you really don't want to be doing anything with the stick. It should just all be on the trim. So that's about balanced. What have we got? 1100 feet per minute. Coming in nice and slowly. Ways down there. Good. A little bit fast. So I'm just constantly with the trim, just adjusting. Now, I don't know if you can see, so we've got our plane lined up, we're on speed. This little one over here, now that because the wind is blowing across the runway, what we want to do is get that secondary one lined up with the runway, as that will put us on the right heading. We're kind of flying into the wind at that point. So if you've ever seen an airplane crabbing as it comes into land, that's essentially what it's doing. Again, we're doing nice and slowly, no need to rush it. I must try again and have a go at landing on an aircraft carrier. It's just unbelievably difficult though. The few times I have done it, it's been luck rather than judgment, I think. But we'll save that for another video. So coming in nice and slowly, 1100 feet per minute. Now what we can do is change that radar altitude, just so we actually know. Plenty of runway, don't need to panic about running out too much. 1200 feet per minute. Start the flare, just a little touch. Straighten up there a bit more. 700 feet per minute. We're down. Cut power. That nose wheel down. Wasn't too bad. Apply the brakes. And get ourselves to a stop. Are we going to make this taxi exit way? I think we are. Excellent. Brakes coming off. We can put our flaps up. And there's our taxiing instructions. Oh, forgot to turn on the nose wheel steering. Came on with a bit of a jolt. We will taxi ourselves off the runway and just park up. And call it a day, I think. So that was just a fun little trip out in the F/A-18. As I say, I'm not an expert. This is not the way you're supposed to do things. But that's the great thing about this game, you know. You can just have fun, and you can get as technical as you want. As I say, I forgot half the systems, so this was just as much a refresher for me as maybe the first time you're seeing this kind of in-depth flight sim kind of gameplay. Anyway, I think on that note we will call it a day. Thank you very much for joining me. A like and a subscribe is always appreciated, and if you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. Thank you very much. Bye for now.